In this video, you're going to see 3 different types of baseball games. One by EA Sports, one by Midway Sports, and another by Microsoft Game Studios. Yeah, Microsoft actually made baseball games. Anyway, let's get to it, and I'll tell you my review in the end. Just like I talked about in my previous EA Sports video regarding EA's last MLB video games, EA made NCAA baseball video games. I'm talking about EA Sports MVP 06 NCAA Baseball, an exclusive NCAA baseball license, which features ESPN. Unfortunately, they didn't last long. As a matter of fact, they only made 2 games, 06 and 07. The only one I have is 06. And honestly, based on how I played, I think it's one of the best ones. Unfortunately, though, it didn't last very long. But there's a lot of interesting features in the game that I will be addressing. For one thing, you can not only create a player, you can create a stadium, which is huge, by the way, if you guys like building stadiums from the ground up. And then there's create a university. Now, I actually did create a university for baseball, and I'm a little biased. It's University of North Texas, or UNT. They do not have a baseball league at the time, so I created from the ground up. And it was definitely interesting. Now, I don't have any gameplay footage of when I actually played on the road to Omaha, which is basically like their version of franchise mode, and building your team to go to the playoffs, and eventually the World Series in college. Now, there are some real things that happen in there that you guys deserve to know. For one thing, because it's NCAA, they will watch students. If they are being tardy, as in they're skipping classes, or they're basically failing or not doing good, they get suspended. And you have a decision to either keep them going, or you take care of the mess yourself and basically bench them. Now, while that's great and all that, I had to be as real as I can. This game is just basically MVP Baseball 2005 in a college setting with some of the movements, stadiums, and even fields. There's a lot of teams to look at, by the way. Also, the college athlete is a UT person, basically University of Texas. And I'm going to be honest, while the game has some interesting mechanics and everything, including like building a player and everything, it just isn't the same as MVP Baseball 2005 on an MLB level. And I have to be honest, I do wish that they didn't just focus on NCAA. As a matter of fact, what ended up happening after they made 2 games, they just stopped. Now on MLB The Show 25, which it's going to be for MLB The Show 26, you can literally build your guy from high school to college now. And in all honesty, I have to be real. I think everyone who gets this game will be happy to have the college experience of building a stadium, building a player, and even building a university, but it just isn't the same. College baseball isn't as popular as like college football, at least in my personal opinion and what I've noticed, because you've seen a lot of football games, and they actually brought back college football games from 25 even to 26. So that's basically it for the EA Sports College. MLB Slugfest. The series itself is the most violent baseball video game series, but Slugfest Loaded, oh boy, you better make sure you're older than 13 before you get the game, because there was some stuff in there that's kind of inappropriate, including some common mischief by the announcers and their cheerleaders, and the violence. But besides that, it's a pretty high action octane game. Like, you get to punch people, you get to dress in very unique outfits, like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and even get a chance to unlock stadiums as well. There is Francisco Home Run Derby, but Slugfest Loaded has a lot of action. I personally like the game for unlocking some unique stadiums, and I wish they carried them over to like other video games, but then again, that's just not always the case. You can't always get what you want. But unique stadiums and everything was definitely a plus. Unique lookalike teams are definitely cool. Heck, they're basically MLB teams with different outfits and everything, like the evil clowns of the New York Yankees. I personally forgot to bring this up, but there are some crazy power-ups in the game So it brings more of an arcade style formation on the game itself. So if you take the violence of WWE, put it into baseball, make it an arcade style, actually unlock things, crazy wild pitches and everything, then yes, that is the game Slugfest Loaded. Not for kids though, please keep that in mind. Not for people under the age of 13. Slugfest Loaded is definitely a teen game. And there is some commentary in it that can get a little rude, so be very careful of what you allow people to listen to. One more thing I will bring up before I end this segment of MLB Slugfest Loaded. It is a nostalgic game, and I wish they brought some of the creativity to other games, but then again, after Slugfest 2006, they stopped making it. Anyway, that's the Slugfest Loaded portion. There was a time Microsoft made baseball games. Introducing Inside Pitch. This is the 2003 version, by the way. And Microsoft Game Studios actually made baseball games, and it was pretty interesting. Not only can you create a player and try to train a player, and also have some interesting gameplay mechanics, but also you could have game moments, which have been inserted in MLB The Show. Now, personally, I would not recommend Inside Pitch if you're impatient. But if you want an arcade-style game that basically is just action-packed and everything and willing to make you think, I would recommend the Inside Pitch. There was a long intro, by the way, for the game before I got in there. It was like 2 minutes. Personally, I don't think you should make an intro that long, but that's just me. Hopefully, more people would see that. And honestly, I don't have the best experience with Inside Pitch. I mean, you play it, you create a player, you build your player up. It's very hard to do. You gotta focus, and some people don't have the patience to do that. Microsoft Game Studios did try to make baseball games of Inside Pitch, but honestly, the 2003 version was enough for me, and I would not really recommend the game. I mean, I played a little bit, and the only thing that basically captivated me was the fact that you could actually get involved with real moments and everything, which I didn't even know that Kenny Rogers almost threw another perfect game for the Texas Rangers. I mean, that's pretty cool, but it's also very hard to do. You gotta really have patience, and you gotta challenge yourself. And because the game itself helps you master it, you can't afford to make mistakes. So in the end, if you want to basically train and polish up your baseball skills in a video game, Inside Pitch is for you. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. So let's talk about the reviews. Now, when it comes to college baseball, EA tried. They really tried to get out there. But now, it's not really good to make a baseball game standalone by college standards. Because they tried, I'll give them a pass. But I give NCAA 06 a 7 out of 10 because they did try to bring college baseball into the world of baseball video games, but unfortunately there was no way to just move a player to the MLB level and then connect it to whatever MLB video game there is, which that's what Madden did with college and NFL video games. Maybe they'll get back to it, I don't know. Then there's Slugfest Loaded, not for kids, but a pretty good nostalgic game that brings some cool concepts from stadiums, costume teams, basically, I'm gonna call it that, and even just unique ways to unlock certain stadiums. And to be honest, while it's great and all for people, it is not for kids, and honestly, that also gives it a 7 out of 10. You guys could probably talk in the comments your thoughts and review. And last but not least, Microsoft Game Studios Inside Pitch. I am sorry, but while it's an interesting concept, it is a video game for people who are really going to grind their skills and going to be able to take the time to play. Now, if that's you, go for it. Have fun with it. But it's going to be very hard and challenging. And it's probably one of the hardest baseball games ever. Even on rookie level, by the way. So, in the end, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. They're not exactly the best baseball games that I've recommended, but they're pretty cool nonetheless. And sadly, you don't see these companies making more baseball games because they don't really have an MLB license. It costs money. And with less competition in the baseball video game world, this needs to change. But I think some of these concepts could be good for other video game companies to kind of get in. If they get an MLB license, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the baseball video game video I did, and I hope to see you guys next video. God bless you, rock. Don't forget it.